Today we're going to go right back to 1956 and we're going to be looking at some of the rarest Elvis records to come out of Japan, including the very first 45 RPM Elvis single and also an EP that I didn't know existed until a month ago, and I think it rewrites the Japanese Elvis record history books. But let's start with the first single, and that is this one here. I'll just show you the A side. Let's get this right. There we go. It's I Forgot to Remember to Forget is the A side, and the B side is Mystery Train. Now, in 1956, the singles all had a catalogue number beginning with the letters ES. If you actually own any Japanese singles, probably the catalogue number begins with the letters SS, and they didn't start the SS series until 1957. So in 1956, all the singles were like this one. They had an ES catalogue number. And believe it or not, there were actually half a dozen or so Elvis singles released in Japan in 1956. Pretty amazing considering he was not only a new artist, but a foreign artist as well. Now, this record is actually, still sticking with this one, the first single, it's really, really hard to find in Japan. And this copy that I have, I actually bought from a seller in America. A copy recently came up for auction in Japan, and I'll just put a picture of that on screen so you can see how much it sold for. ¥52,000 is around about $450, and the record was released without a picture cover, so you can see how desirable that record is in Japan. It just almost never comes up for sale. The next one we're going to look at is the first picture cover released in Japan, and this is Heartbreak Hotel and I Was the One. You can see that this one is packaged in a wraparound plastic cover. Now, I've shown some of these before, but they were all EPs. So the EPs were packaged this way until the end of the 1950s, but the singles were only packaged this way, in Elvis's case, until the end of 1956. And here is the single. Heartbreak Hotel, I Was the One. You can see that this one has a tri-center and a small hole in the middle, whereas the first one I showed you here has the large center hole like an American 45. So what happened in 1956 was Victor changed the record design from this style here with a big hole to this one here with the three-prong center, and they did that around about July 1956. This record is actually from the second part of 1956. However, this record was released first of all with the large hole, not the tri-center. And it came in the picture cover. And that original version with the large hole, that was actually released in May 1956. So I think this actually could have been the world's first Elvis Presley single picture cover. If you know of a single which was released in another country prior to May 1956, then please let me know. So all I know is that in America in July 1956, Hound Dog was released with the first picture cover, but this one was released in May 1956, or at least the version with the large center hole. Let's move on to another rare record from 1956. This one, let me show you the A side first. This one is My Baby Left Me, which is clearly marked as the A side, and on the B side is I Want You, I Need You, I Love You. This one is another one that came without a picture cover, and you can see that this one has a large hole, but it's actually, the center has actually been dinked. Now this one was released later in 1956 after the summer, so this one never had a large hole. It was always released with the tri-center. This one also didn't come in a picture cover. And this copy, just like my copy of Mystery Train, I bought this one from a seller in America because you can't find it in Japan. And I think the reason for that is a lot of these early records were probably bought by American servicemen and servicewomen who were working here in Japan. remember 1956 was only 11 years after the war ended, so there was a very big American military presence in Japan at the time, and there are still some American military bases here, but not as many as before. So I think a lot of these early Elvis records were actually bought by Americans living in Japan and then taken back. And just like the copy of Mystery Train, this record also came up for auction recently in Japan, and I'll put a picture on screen so you can see just how much that one went for. So that record went for even more money than the copy of Mystery Train, 80 odd thousand yen. That's well over $700 for a single. And finally, onto a record that for me is one of the most exciting ones I've found in Japan, because I didn't know that this record actually existed until about a month ago when I bought it. It's an EP, and it's got 4 tracks on it: Blue Suede Shoes, Blue Moon, Tutti Frutti, Money Honey. And what's different about this is not the cover, but actually the record itself. So this is an EP, a 50s EP, so you can see it's also packaged in that same plastic wraparound cover like the Heartbreak Hotel single. Now I've seen a few copies of this record over the years, but all of them, the records came with the tri-center and the small hull. And the Japanese discography book dates this EP to late 1956. However, this particular copy here, as you can see, actually has the large center hull. So this record actually dates to no later than July 1956, so it was actually released earlier than the Japanese discography book claims. I've certainly never ever seen another copy of this record with the hull. I didn't even imagine that there would be one. So when I found this, I just grabbed it straight away. Now you might be looking at that and thinking, well, I can't really read the labels there, and that's because, unfortunately, the silver text has faded quite a bit over the years. If you actually look at it, in person, you can read it, but the letters have definitely faded. That's unfortunately one of the problems that you get with these plastic covers. I have another EP from '56. And it has a similar problem with the letters, where the letters have faded slightly. Not as badly as this one, but it seems to be a problem with storing records in these plastic covers over a long period of time. So there you go, a history rewriting EP. And finally, just before I go, back to the Heartbreak Hotel single, I have not one, but in actual fact 2 copies of this single. This is a spare copy I have, so if you're interested in picking up this, just head over to Discogs and you'll be able to find this record for sale over there. It's exactly the same, it has the 3-prong center, it's the later version from late 1956. And I'll just leave my details on the screen, how you can find me on Discogs. I've actually submitted literally hundreds of Elvis records and CDs to Discogs. What I mean is I've added them to the database. I've been pretty active on that over the years. Okay, I'm going to stop there for today. If you have any questions about those records, or if you want to leave a comment, that's great. And I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.